Hello there, Rochelle here with Dreaming English, and today I'm going to have a conversation with Ravi from India. Are you ready? Let's go.
So this is Ravi PK from India, and if I talk about my profession, so I run my business. Okay, I am into winter jacket business. Okay, like a warm cloth business I have in India. Okay, and apart from business, I have been running my English podcast. So you know very well. I have also YouTube channel, and as well as I have been also writing my own book last few months.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
this is a little bit about myself.
Wow. So warm. When I think of India, I always think of it as a very hot place, right? So, but there must be places that are cold that you would need those winter jackets. And where I live, actually, we have four seasons, and in the winter, it's very, very cold. So we probably could use your winter jackets here.
Yeah, definitely. I will, courier in your country. Definitely. And most of India, like American guys like Indian, stuffs and Indian materials and everything.
Yeah. So do you tell me about where you live? What's it like there?
So yeah, I live in Punjab, and maybe you heard about it. Punjab is very beautiful place. Punjab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I live near Boston. I live in Massachusetts, which is like in the northeast part of the United States. And
Okay.
it's about 1 hour from the ocean. So I could go to the ocean. We have mountains here. They're not huge,
Okay.
but we do have mountains. And
Okay.
yeah, so that's about where I live, is like the northeast part of the United States. And where the American Revolution started, right here in Boston.
Hmm. Okay, wow, that's good. That's good. So yeah, so how long have you been, running your YouTube channel?
So it's 2 years exactly from the beginning of July. We started
Okay.
it in 2019, and during the pandemic, I really started making more and more videos because I had more time. Um, and so it's been a slow start. It's really a hobby right now. I just make about 2 videos a week. And it was really because my daughter wanted to be a YouTuber, and I said we could do it as long as it was educational. So we came
Huh.
up with the idea of teaching people English.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great. Amazing. And I have a one question, very beautiful question for you. Just like you are native speaker, okay, from America, okay. So you no need to learn English skills. So why you are connecting with a stranger around the world, people? What is the purpose behind of this? Because my
Okay.
purpose would be different, and another purpose would be different.
Yeah, so I mean, when I first started making the videos, they were really just like stories that we are telling, and I asked my viewers what would they like to see, and some of them said they would like to see conversations with other English learners or people from around the world talking about their culture and stuff. And so I had a couple of those. My first one was with somebody from Mongolia, and then somebody from
Mongolia.
Venezuela. Yeah, so it was like
Uh,
all around the world. And then I didn't do that for a while, and then all of a sudden, somebody named Arif Otto, he he asked me if I could be on his YouTube channel, which I've
uh,
been on twice now. So after that, lots of people, especially from India, were asking me if I could be a guest on their channel.
uh,
So that's kind of the reason. I think my viewers enjoy listening
uh,
to conversations and learning about people from around the world, and it's a good way
uh.
to learn English, I think.
Oh wow, that's great. Means according to you, if I will summarize, okay, your thoughts and your answer. So you are not here for learning English skills. You are here to explore yourself. Learn something new cultures from different kinds of country. Learn from another people experience, another people story, struggle, their problem. So you are here to learn real life knowledge, practical knowledge. Am I right?
Exactly, exactly. And I've learned so many things. Like when I first had my first conversation with Arif, I really was not I was not aware of like the different um languages in India. I mean, I thought like English was one of the main languages, but I learned that it was like Hindi and there was many languages. So, and then I've
Uh,
learned that there's only one time zone in your very big country of big country with people and area, there's just one time zone, which I was surprised because United States, we have like 4 or 5 time zones. So I'm learning new
Okay.
things each time, like, about India or about when I speak to people from other countries. I like to learn about their culture, about their festivals, about their food, what do they eat. So yeah, it's like really learning about people from all over.
Oh wow, that's great. So could you share with me little bit what are the things you most like from India?
What are the things? Well, I am interested in like the different places, the different cultural places to go and see. Like it could be Taj Mahal or
Uh,
other places like that. Um, the food. Um, I
Indian
like
food.
curry, though not as spicy as you probably would eat. So I'd like to learn about the different food that you eat, and we do have some Indian
Wow.
restaurants here in the United States.
Well, really,
Uh,
really, yeah, Indian foods are very delicious, very yummy, very crunchy, spicy. Now I am feeling much more hungry, really.
right, me too, me too. So yeah,
Wow,
those
that's good.
those would be the things. And then I will talk to people from around the world, but I'll also watch I have a special favorite YouTuber because I'm learning Spanish, and so he goes all around the world and he's been to many places in India. His name is Lucito. He has a channel called Lucito Comunica, and he goes
Okay.
all around the world and he's been to India many times. So I'll watch different videos where he just goes and he tries the food, and he had another video, went to Taj Mahal, and
Uh,
I'll be learning about the culture of India, but I'll also be learning Spanish while I'm watching his
mm,
channel. And then I'll
mm,
notice when he talks to the people, he speaks English to them because obviously most of the people in India probably don't speak Spanish. So English is
mm.
obviously a useful language to travel around the world because, if he only spoke Spanish, he'd be probably struggling.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, wow, that's great. That's a lovely. So I'd like to, one more question. Have you ever visited in India?
No, no, unfortunately, I have not. I've only been to 3 countries. So the
Uh,
first one I've been to is Canada, and then I've
uh,
been to Costa Rica, and I've been to Finland. Those are the 3 countries, but it's definitely on my list in the future to go to India.
wow, now it turns to, go to India.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. First of all, I would, welcome in India. You must have to come here and you should learn, you should enjoy, you should, you know, explore yourself in India.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, that's
So
great.
what
Yeah.
um what about you? Like, have you been to the United States?
No, no, no. But I am planning. Okay, why I am learning English skills. My purpose is not that I want to become a English speaker. I want to become a good influencer in English field. My purpose is that and I have already told you I have been writing my own book. So with the help of English language, I can reach out many more people around the world. So that's the reason I am learning English skills, as well as I want to explore my business around the world level. So that's the reason I am learning English skills, because if I can't influence to people, if people are not understanding my language, so I can't explore my business around the world level. So that's the reason I am here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it's that's definitely a good reason to learn the language. And
Yeah, yeah.
as you said, like for my purpose is not to learn the language because I'm a native speaker, but to really kind of like help other people learn and
Huh.
really just help them learn in a natural way by teaching them about all kinds of
Yeah,
interesting, topics, stories, and then the conversations with people.
yeah, yeah, absolutely right. So I think you have also talked to lots of Indian people, am I right?
I have. So it was Ari first, and then I think it's Asif I talked to. I talked to Lila. There's somebody named Lila I spoke to.
Uh,
And I'm forgetting all the different names. There was
uh,
Vinette. So there was a
okay.
number of them that I have spoken to. In fact, some people might think like that's all I speak to, but I have spoken to people also from Siberia
Uh-huh.
and Venezuela and Colombia and such. But it's been probably the most. Oh, Anad. You had spoken to Nad. I spoke to Nad like I think 3 times. And
Oh,
actually,
Anand.
yeah, Anad. Probably mispronounced it, so sorry about that.
Yeah,
So
no, it's.
for my daytime job as a teacher, I'm
Mhm.
actually going to be teaching how to make a YouTube channel, and I've
Okay.
asked Anad to be a guest to talk to my students. So he'll be doing that probably in about 2 weeks. So I'm really excited about that.
Wow, that's good. Means your journey was full of excitement, full of enjoyable.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it's really great to talk to people about, all kinds of different topics. I've spoken to, I think it was Ravi just recently. We spoke to like talking about the difference between healthcare in the US
Mm.
and India. And then I think I spoke to Lila about the difference of education in our two different countries. And we spoke about many things, YouTube, but we also spoke about like environment and how plastics like really are not good for the environment. So I love to talk to different topics with people as well.
Wow, that's great. So I have a one more interesting question. Okay, based upon my audience. So you have talked to many more people around the world. So according to you, in India, especially India, okay. So most of people are lacking in terms of speaking and reading and everything. Okay. So have you ever faced any problem while talking to Indian people?
I have. There was a couple people that I really couldn't understand very well. They wanted to have a conversation with me, and I was struggling to understand them. There's a number of people that will ask to speak with me, and I basically will give them a number of questions like, "What's your level of English?" And they'll tell me intermediate, but then they'll tell me the next one. I'll say, "How long have you been speaking English?" And they'll say 1 month. So I kind of think if I'm going to have a conversation with that person, I'm going to really struggle to understand them. And then if I record it, then I think people are going to have a struggle to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So that has been, and there was one that I recorded and I didn't post it because I had such a trouble understanding the person that I just did not post that video.
Yeah, wow, that's great. So according to you, could you give me some advice where people are struggling, means they are lacking in
I mean,
English
I
skills,
think
where they
so.
should improvement,
You
where
know,
they should
my
improvement? Yeah.
my thoughts of learning a language is that you should really listen and listen and listen before you try to speak. So, because if you are trying to speak before you have listened to the language enough, you wouldn't develop an ear for the language. And so when
Uh,
you go to speak, your pronunciation is not going to be great. So I think some people are really, and it's great to push themselves and to see if they can do it. But if you push yourself to try to speak and have a conversation with a native speaker before you're ready, that native speaker is going to have a hard time understanding you because you have not developed that ear for the language. And
mm,
if you didn't do that, you're not going to pronounce things well. So I think that's where really to listen more and not just like 10 or 100 hours, but maybe like 1,000 hours before you get to the point that you're ready to speak to people. Uh,
yeah.
so when somebody says that they've only been studying English for 1 month, I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to be able to understand them.
Oh wow, because they are not good listeners. So how they can understand another people,
So
a message?
and that's my idea of not my idea, but the idea of what I'm doing is called comprehensible input. And so that means like watching stuff that's really easy to understand that if you
Uh,
had no English, you'd be able to understand it. So when I put my videos that I call super beginner or beginner, they should be at a level that you can understand from the way I'm speaking, but also I'm drawing pictures and I'm putting some pictures in there and I'm using my hands to kind of like say, okay, I was talking to somebody or I was looking for something. So that way, someone that has no experience with the language, they could understand. And so they should watch a lot of that kind of content and listen so that way they can develop their ear. And that's how, if they don't understand, to watch stuff that's easy to understand first.
mm,
And
mm,
then when you get to have more of a ear for the language, then you can start listening all the time. Like when I'm walking, I'm listening to Spanish. I will listen to podcasts, but I've
mm,
already developed that ear so I can understand by just listening.
mm.
If that makes sense to you.
Wow, wow, that's great. First of all, they should, develop a habit of listening. After that, they can, easily become a good speaker. Because
Yeah.
every good speaker, they are good listener. So that's the reason they can easily, influence to anyone.
Yeah. And think about, how did you learn your native language when you were a baby and as you were growing? You didn't, you learned first from listening for a year or
Yeah,
two.
yeah,
You
yeah,
started
yeah,
speaking, right? You
yeah,
didn't just
yeah,
start speaking.
absolutely. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the idea of this is to teach people how they learn their native language.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So according to you, how Indian English learner different from native speaker? How
Well,
they are different?
I think the difference of like, so I would imagine that and I don't know one word of Hindi, but the language of Hindi is not, it's not related to English in any way.
Yeah, yeah,
While
it's a
if
very
I'm
different,
learning,
huge different.
right, it's
Yeah,
very different, letters
yeah.
and everything, right? But while I'm learning Spanish, there are thousands, if not like tens of thousands of words that came from Latin into English. So it's easier for me to learn English. So it's going to be a bigger hurdle for somebody that is a native Hindi speaker to learn English. However, I think that your people like you and other people that I spoke to have an advantage because most likely people say, okay, my native, I speak Hindi and I speak these other languages, right?
Yeah, right, right.
So since you already have that mindset to know how to speak two languages, I think that person that says I've only learned English for a month or two, they might be a much better English speaker than I would be at a Spanish speaker because of the fact that they already were bilingual from a very young age. So to learn another language came much easier for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So I think the hurdles would be that the language is so different, but
so
the
different.
benefits for people for India are that you are probably already bilingual from a very young age. Many people that I spoke to seem to have told me that they were bilingual from a very young age.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right. Great, great. So according to you, you have, I have also one beautiful question. Where Indian people should improvement lot means where they should focus first for improvement their, English skills.
Okay. I mean, like my biggest thing would be, again, the listening. But another thing, what I would do is
Mm-hmm.
that with YouTube, you can turn on captions. You can turn on like the closed captions and read along. And that's what I would kind of, because then it will cement it two ways. You'll be seeing the person speak. You'll be watching stuff where you can see people speak because you do learn by watching people's mouth, right? But you'll also be able to see the words going across it, so it'll cement
Yeah,
more
yeah.
those words. And so that's my opinion on that. Like I think learning that way before learning grammar. I'm not going to say grammar is not important because if you are taking exams, if you want to go to university in the United States or Britain, you need to know grammar. But that's all you need grammar for. Because
Yeah.
quite frankly, when I'm talking to you, I'm not thinking about verbs. I'm not thinking about dangling participles. I'm not thinking about all that. I'm just speaking.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so first is listening. They should develop habits of listening. After that, they should learn basic grammars. After that, they should, start speaking with
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah, start speaking. And if you need the grammar, definitely learn grammar for your, I think it's the IEL. I'm not sure exactly that test that you have to take if you want to study in the United States or in Britain or Australia. But yeah, you do need the grammar if you're going to be studying for those exams. But if you want to speak English fluently, focus on listening and then focus on trying to find an English partner that you can practice with.
Wow, that's great. So yeah, if people want to become a native speaker, okay,
So
from India,
become
so
a
how they
native
can
speaker.
become? How
So
they
you
can
can't
become?
really become, so unless you move the United States or to Britain before age 10, you're going to have an accent, right? So my children's father is from Russia. He came here when he was 18. He will always have a Russian accent, but he speaks his English level is excellent. If I was to write something and I wanted to send it off for like a paper that I had to write, I would have him look at it because his English level of understanding and writing is very good, but he'll always have an accent. So it's not really possible. Well, it's not completely impossible, right? There are people that can learn how to speak without an accent, but it's not very likely that you would learn to speak without an accent unless you move to the country before age 10. Not impossible, but not as likely. Obviously, there's actors that do it. There's actors like Gwyneth Paltrow, for instance. She's from the United States, I believe, but she makes movies in a British accent. And I think she's pretty convincing. So obviously it's possible to do it, but it's not as likely. So I think the most important thing is to be a speaker of the language where people can understand you. I have friends that are from Colombia and they came here at 18 or 20 and they live here for 30 years. I can understand them completely, but they still have a Spanish accent. That's okay. And it's you know what? Americans like people with accents. I love to listen to somebody from Italy or from India with that accent. So don't feel like you have to lose it. That's my opinion.
Wow. Wow, wow. Really, it's a proven opinion. Absolutely right. And really good things. So I have also one question. If people not good at English, so what are the things can happen in their career?
If they're not good at, I
Today's
mean,
era, yeah. Yeah,
I
today's
think some
era.
people might be afraid to speak it, I'm the same way in Spanish. Like sometimes you learn the language and you can understand it, but you're like afraid to speak it because maybe you're afraid of making mistakes and you're afraid that people will laugh at you, or you're afraid that they'll think that you're not, as smart as them. So there's a point that you need to kind of just put yourself out of your comfort zone and start speaking to people. Um, and I do know people that live in the United States that are from other countries that they understand everything I'm saying, but they don't speak any English because they're afraid. In fact, I'll tell a quick story. So I work at a high school and I work with students, and they pick up on the language quickly. So the parent comes in and the student's saying, "My mother's not doing this, and my mother's not helping me with this."
Yeah.
I'm listening. And then and the student always told me her mother doesn't speak any English. And all of a sudden, the mother got really mad, and she all of a sudden started speaking English. Said, "I helped my daughter with this. I gave her this. I told And I was like, "Whoa, you can speak English." She just
Yeah.
she's afraid. But when she finally got mad enough at what her daughter was saying, she all of a sudden she started speaking very good English.
Wow, that's good. So now you are a native speaker, okay? And your English is already, good. 100% I will give you, okay,
Thank you.
marks. So just like what are the benefits you are getting with the help of,
Ben,
English, language skills
I mean, the
you are
benefits
getting?
for like learning English is that it's a international language. You can travel all over the world. Like you can go to like somebody that knows English can travel to Thailand, can travel to China. They can probably find people that speak English while they can't find somebody that speaks Spanish. And then a lot of when I speak to people around the world, they tell me in their country, all government documents are in English. If you need to have jobs, if you want to get good jobs, you need to know English. There's somebody I'm working with in Colombia, and she wants to work at a call center, and she can do that from home, but she needs to know English. So the benefits are getting a job, friends around the world, and the fact that it's an international language. Like it's wonderful to learn French, and it's wonderful to learn all these other languages, but they're not going to benefit you if you're traveling around the world. You're not going to be able to speak to people if say you learn German. There's probably not a lot of people in India that speak German.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That means that these skills become, if people good at in English, so they can, get promotion, they can become a successful, they can explore themselves, they can, persuade to people, and they can, change others' perspective also.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had that wonderful conversation, and it's very clear that English is very necessary. And if you are not a native English speaker, that's probably the first language that you should try to learn as your second language.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, could you share me what are the benefits you have got in your life with the help of this language?
Well, I mean, I live in a country where I just actually learned that English is not the official
Yeah,
language
from
in the United
the
States,
from the world. Yeah,
but
from the world.
but from
Yeah.
the world is that I can speak to people from around the world. Like if I didn't I can speak to people in Venezuela. I can speak to people in Mongolia. I can speak to people all around the world because English is my native language. If my native language was Spanish and I wanted to speak to somebody in Mongolia, it might not be as possible. So that's been a benefit for me. And when I traveled around different places, there was always somebody that spoke English. Like when I was in Finland, and if I wasn't sure where to go or I could probably find someone that spoke English to get around. So I guess that would be my benefit. And I do live in an English speaking country where you're going to end up going much further in the United States if you speak English. There are lots of people from other countries that never learn English fluently, and they don't get as far in life if they don't learn English.
Wow, that's great about that. So, could you share me your funniest moment in your life? What was your funniest moment?
My funniest moment. That's a hard question. Let's see. I guess I will say like my funnest moment in my life instead of funniest because it's hard to just come up with that. But my funnest moment in my life was when I got to walk next to a volcano, an active volcano. It was safe, but it was an active volcano in Costa Rica. That was like the best, like most enjoyable moment in my life. I really enjoyed it. It was so beautiful, like, and you could hear it, you could see it. It was like loud, like thunder. And I did have a guide, so we stayed in a safe distance from it. But that was like the funnest moment of my life.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Great. So, what are the message would you like to give our audience who are watching our video?
I mean, I guess the message that I would take, I would give is to try to find very interesting things, comprehensible things to listen to and watch, but interesting things. Like if you like to travel, look for YouTube channels that are about travel. If you like art, look for YouTube channels about art. So you can also like, because if you aren't interested in the topic, you're not going to watch it. You're not going to pay as much attention. So I would say that would be what I would really give that as my advice.
Wow, wow, that's great. That's great. So, first of all, thank you very much for share your experience, your knowledge, and I hope people have got lots of value from out of the there. So, thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you.
So, would you like to ask any question from me, yeah, from my audience?
Well, my question would be what kinds of topics that you would be interested in or your audience would be interested in for us to make, for my channel to make as
Yeah.
future
So,
videos.
so they can put on the comment
Put in the
section.
comments.
Okay, and they should also subscribe our channel.
Absolutely. Subscribe to Dreaming English as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. But why they should subscribe?
I mean, why should they subscribe? Because I'm going to give you content, comprehensible, very interesting content where you'll be able to learn English in a natural way without
Mm.
any boring grammar. So that's why you
Yeah,
should
yeah,
subscribe.
yeah. They should subscribe. Yeah, absolutely right, absolutely. Okay, so thank you very much. Once again for become a guest on my show,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Anytime.
and hope we will connect as soon as with
Ab-
another amazing show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, namaste.
Namaste.